Yes, now I remember. I took that request by mail. There have been times when I took a job without having met my client. The request was for the murder of Juan Cordia and 2 or 3 small other things. When I saw the name at the end of the letter, I thought my client to be a man. Bullcrap! So you took this job through a letter? He didn't mention anything about a letter in his earlier testimony, which means he's definitely lying. Be careful, Phoenix. If you break the assassin's testimony completely, it's over for us. I know, I can't make him suspicious, but I think we're okay. Like, we can do this. As long as he's standing there across from me. No matter how strong of a punch I throw, he'll counter it. Now then, let's begin the cross-examination. Questing Part 2, Parte 2. That was clicking. But didn't you just say that you always met your clients? Meet? Yes, I suppose I did say that. However, there are some clients for whom meeting is simply not possible. But didn't you meet your client this time? No, I did not. Oh, come on now. Oh, come now. Let's stop with this game of cat and mouse. Using your silkiest voice is not going to work on me. Alright then, just cough it up and confess. Mr. Wright, you can't badger a witness with such harsh words. You're a lawyer, so behave like one and present evidence instead of mindlessly yelling. Now then, do you have any proof that Mr. Killer met with his client? Yeah, no we don't. I'm sorry, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I don't have any proof. I see. Then your line of questioning was just another waste of time. Well, that's good. Sadly for us, Your Honor, that is the nature of right and wrong. And why would you not meet with certain clients? Recently, I have been receiving more requests. If I met each and every client, I would lose some nice business opportunities. Nice business opportunities? On top of which, the times have changed. It is now the age of information and computers, correct? Well, I have joined the times and now take requests via electronic mail. Electronic mail? Do you have to mail that in a special insulated envelope? I'm very sorry. I despise the shortening of words. What I meant by electronic mail is what is commonly referred to as email. Email? In a contest of mimicry, the judge would beat a parrot, hands down. Anyway, so you took this job without having to meet your client, and... 2 or 3 other things. Yes. And what were these other things? A few other things that had nothing to do with this case. What should I do? Should I slide with that? It'd be really bad if I push his buttons the wrong way and gets mad. Whether or not they're related to the case is for the court to decide. Mr. Attorney. Yes? Everything I have said from the beginning has been nothing but beneficial to your client, which is why I wonder what is pushing you to continue with this cross-examination. Could it be that you are planning to betray your own client? I smell a stench of a backstabber. And should you turn out to be one... Wait! Uh-oh. This is looking really bad. I shouldn't press my luck. Alright, I have to think. Is this worth pursuing? Yeah, it is. We have to... Witness, this is a very important matter. Please cooperate and tell us whether or not these other jobs... Tell us what these other jobs your client requested were. If it's truly that important, I suppose I don't have much of a choice. The bear figurine. The bear figurine. After the assassination of the target, I was to find that figurine. I was told that this job was just as important as the actual killing. And where was that figurine? It was inside Mr. Cordia's suitcase. And then, what did you do next? I handed it over to my client right away. You gave it to your client. Interesting. This information certainly sounds important to me. Witness, please include what you just stated in your testimony. As you wish. Actually, I want to skip this line. Because there was a funny thing I might have skipped in the last episode. Yeah, I skipped it. I actually accidentally skipped it. Because it's a hilarious line. I'm just going to, go back and insert it in somewhere. Miss Andrews was wearing a mask at the time. A mask? The Nickel Samurai mask, I'm guessing. Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about this? Do you have any problems with this piece of testimony? No. I think I can pull something out of what he said, but it would be real bad if I did something and we made him bad over something trivial. There are no problems with this with the testimony, Your Honor. Wait, what? Oh, yeah. Now, there was a reason I wanted to skip the line, and that was because of what I just said. I actually didn't remember that last part. I found this figurine at Mr. Ngarde's mansion. If you gave it to Miss Andrews, then what was it doing there? I was waiting for her there. That was also a part of the plan to frame Mr. Ngarde, I'm sure. That makes a lot of sense. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any problems with this piece of testimony? Yes. So the killer says that he gave the figurine to Miss Andrews. But I know somewhere in that statement there's a contradiction. And yet, I know that if I present something trivial here, he will cut the connection on his end. If you want to make a strong point, Phoenix, you have to present strong evidence. She's right. So now what, Dr. Wright? Witness, let's go over this one more time. You gave Miss Andrews the bear figurine, and she told you to take the bear and wait for her at Ngarde Mansion. Is that correct? Yes. Where are you going with this? Well, I think maybe you might have remembered a few things incorrectly. What? This is a battle of wits. I can't let up on him. I don't think it is possible for Miss Andrews to have been the recipient of this bear. Shelley the killer. If you had really given the bear to Miss Andrews, then this item should not have been inside it. This item? I see where you're going. Yep, that's exactly where I'm going. Where is everyone going? Do I need to pick a suitcase? Your Honor, please think back to Miss Andrews' testimony. If even for a single minute, this bear had actually been in Miss Andrews' hand, I'm sure she would have taken the suicide note and burned it! Order! 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 So that's where you two were going! So by the very fact that the suicide note was still inside the bear, tells us that your client didn't know how to disassemble the puzzle. Which means, it means, Your Honor, that it's impossible for Adrian Andrews to be the client! Oh! Order! 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 Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'm sure I mentioned this before, how I hate traitors above all else. I think your cross-examination has clearly demonstrated something to me. You must break your end of the agreement. No, that's enough. If that's your intention, there's only one thing for me to do. Wait, please. Gentlemen, ladies, please excuse me. I have a matter that I must attend to. No, please, not that. Please wait. Mr. Attorney, bring this trial to a speedy end and I may stay my hand. Otherwise... What in the... Mr. Wright, are you... Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor? I didn't understand this witness's outburst just now. Do you think there is a need to hear more testimony, or is this enough? Well, we should... Edgeworth, can't do this. If we keep this up, Maya, she'll... The prosecution... What has come over everyone? Even you are... The prosecution... Rest. What is going on around here? The prosecution has no further questions, Your Honor. What? Well, I never thought I'd see the day. This is a most unusual situation. The prosecution rests with no further questions. Then, the prosecution has failed to uphold its stance. If that's the case, then even though I'm reluctant, I must believe that Mr. the Killer's testimony is accurate. That would mean that Shelley the Killer's client is Adrian Andrews. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? If I end the trial here, right now, then your client, Madame Garde, would be declared innocent. And in his place, Adrian Andrews would be charged with murder. Well, Miss Andrews would be charged with murder. The prosecution has no further questions, so we will now hear the defense's final remarks. Bailiff, please bring in the defendant, Madame Garde, to the stand. The items from the killer's hideout didn't make it in time. We tried as hard as we could, but it looks like our time has run out. Can't believe it. The outcome now lies in your hands. Dude, did the old guy finally decide? To be honest, I can't think of you as a truly innocent and good person. You have done enough evil to drive a woman to suicide. But, at least on the charge of murder, it would appear you are innocent. Ha! So, I guess even the old fuddy-duddy figured me out. But, Mr. Garde? You were atrocious as a lawyer, weren't you? Giving your client away like this? And that refreshing like a spring breeze crap is just as atrocious, don't you agree? Anyway, get on with it and pronounce me innocent already. Right, Mr. Lawyer? Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear the defense's final statements on this matter. If the person who hired the assassin was Adrian Andrews, then your client, Mr. Madame Garde, is innocent. There's no need to ask, old man. After all, my lawyer is going to say what I want. Aren't you? Right. I can't do this, but I have to decide something. I can't count on the evidence to help me anymore. I have to listen to my heart. My client, Madame Garde, is... We are waiting for your answer, Mr. Wright. Madame Garde, your client deserves an answer. Madame Garde is... Ow?
Objection!
Francisca von Karma! He's a woman? No, but seriously, we seriously needed this right about now. What do you do? Ow! You see now, don't you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? This is exactly why you should never take your eyes off that scruffy fool. Did you bring them? The final pieces? Do you have them? You should know better than to ask that, Mr. Miles Edgeworth. Von Karma is perfect in every way. The evidence here is in perfect condition. Don't worry about Scruffy. He's fine, and his injuries are minor. All of the items are inside this. What a filthy old coat this is. That's Gumshoes. I can spot his tattered rags anywhere. I apologize for its ugliness, but there was nothing else to wrap the items in. I've fought long and hard for this whole trial for what's inside that raggedy coat. I'm sure that inside that coat lies a crucial piece of evidence. Your Honor, inside that filthy coat are the defense's final pieces of evidence. Your final evidence? This trial is already over. All that remains is for me to hand down my verdict. I do not believe that any evidence presented now would change the outcome of this trial. What? Your Honor, it is our duty to examine every piece of evidence, down to the last. I request that Miss Von Karma be allowed to present these pieces of evidence. I suppose you are right, Mr. Edgeworth. I grant permission to do so. However, this one obvious rule applies here. If these items do not bring up any new points, then they will not be accepted by this court. Now, Miss Von Karma, if you please. These pieces of evidence are items left by the killer during his escape from the police. He must have been in quite a rush. Yes, Your Honor. The killer left 3 pieces of evidence behind. Somewhere among the evidence we're about to see, there will be something that will turn this whole situation around, like a miracle. I'm sure of it. That is all we can hope for. The first item is a pistol. Does the killer's pistol have anything to do with this case? Does that pistol have any relation to this case? We have yet to perform a ballistics test, so I can't really say anything for certain. However, I believe it has something to do with this case, at least to me. That's the pistol he used to shoot you, isn't it? That's what I believe, yes. Oh. I kept the bullet they removed from my shoulder as a sort of memento. I'm sure it will be an excellent sample for the test. So that's the pistol that was used to shoot Francisco. It's probably not going to help us very much. The second piece of evidence is this videotape. I bet the killer took that from the guarding mansion. Have you checked the contents of that tape? Unfortunately, there was no time to. Oh, yeah. But I would speculate that this tape is very important. Why would you say that? Because he came back to his hideout for it. The killer went back for it? That's right. It looks like he was trying to recover it. He injured 3 of the officers at the site. But somehow it looks like they managed to protect it from the killer. Shelley the killer is no ordinary man. The last piece of evidence is this bellboy's uniform. Is that a uniform from the Gatewater Hotel? Was that used during the crime? I am almost certain it was. There's even a pair of black leather gloves in one of the pockets. There's no doubt about it, the killer was wearing this on the night of the murder. There was one thing I found interesting about this uniform. And what's that? There is a button missing on this uniform. A button? It's a very unique button. I'm sure if we were to recover it, it would provide us with a very interesting clue. That is all I have to present, Your Honor. Just as I thought. And what is that, Your Honor? I'm sure were we under normal circumstances, these items from Shelley the Killer's hideout would be very important clues. However, our question is not who did the killing. It is, who is the client? Yes, that is correct. And these 3 items do not tell us anything about that. Thank you for your hard work, Miss Von Karma. You may step down now. Wait, Your Honor. Please allow me to examine this new evidence. Overruled. That wasn't an objection, that was a hold it, damn it! This court already has all the evidence it needs to hand down a verdict. Wonderful. Absolutely splendid. This judge is a brilliant man, isn't he? Is this the end? Phoenix. I knew it. There's no such thing as a miracle in this world, is there? I think you're wrong. I think they do exist. But you have to make that miracle happen. You've come this far. You can't give up now. But no matter how you think about it, it's... Try. For my sake. Just think about it for a second. There are 2 ways out of this situation for us. 2? The first... making Garde a wish from the bottom of his soul for a guilty verdict. Huh? The killer will always place his client's wishes first. If Engarde himself wishes to be convicted, then he will let his hostage go. That may be true, but that's asking me to do the impossible! The second way... force the killer to end his contract with Engarde. If the killer were to no longer think of Engarde as his client, then he would let Maya go. Mia! That's even more impossible! He's a man who values his duty towards his clients above all else. I know both of these seem like impossible feats at first, but if you could make either one happen, it would truly be a miracle. The bigger problem is, the judge has already said he doesn't need any more evidence. The pieces he was just shown, he's not accepting them. Phoenix, think things through from the other side. Isn't that what has always worked for us? The other side? Wait, does she mean... you mean to turn things around? Phoenix, the judge says he doesn't need the evidence. If that's the case, then who does need it? The person who needs the evidence. The defense, the prosecution, and the judge, we've seen all of the pieces of evidence, and that is how we have come to know the truth. But there are people who have not seen them all, and those people do not know the truth. That truth, it may be what bring about the miracle in the end. There are no objections this time, correct? Now then, I will pronounce my verdict. Why don't we all respectfully sit back and listen, kids?
Objection!
I have already told you, Mr. Wright, this court does not need any more evidence. I am not saying it is us that needs the evidence, Your Honor. Then, you want to show the evidence to that person? Yes, Your Honor. Please, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, for you to ask with such a passion, I will grant you one chance. One chance? Please show your evidence to who you think is the right person. That's impossible to turn this situation around in one try? One try, that is all I will permit. I have to try to remember everything that has happened up to this point. Think, Phoenix, think. There must be a way to save Maya while taking Garde down at the same time. Now then, Mr. Wright, let's not waste any more time. Who would you like to show the evidence to? Now, the thing about this is, there are actually two endings to this game. And if you screw up here, you're gonna be getting the ending you don't want. I see. Now, tell this court what one piece of evidence you would like to show this person. Well, what do you think, Mr. Edgeworth? I think there is some merit in showing this evidence to that witness. Bailiff, please bring in the transceiver from earlier. Alright, looks like they got a hold of him. Maya, she's okay, right? Didn't I tell you to concern yourself with bringing about a speedy end to this trial? Now, if I understand correctly, you wish to show me a piece of evidence? Yes, one is all I need. I have here a videotape. It was found at your hideout. I heard you injured 3 officers in your attempt to get this back. That was most regrettable. However, it was an order from my client. I was told to protect that videotape. I thought so. I'm afraid I seem to have failed in that regard. Do you know the contents of this tape? I was sternly told by my client not to watch it, so I have absolutely no idea. Actually, you were on this tape. Me? There was a video camera hidden at the crime scene. Your actions were being recorded. What? Is that true, Mr. Wright? Who was it that planted the camera? Well, the only person who could have placed the camera at the scene of the crime would be your client, naturally. That was Adrian Andrews. Be quiet and listen, Your Honor. Yes, sir. Your client specified a place and time for you, isn't that right? Yes. That was just so they could film you. I had no idea. Mr. Wright, why would my client do such a thing? I would like to know why. Why did Matt and Garde film the crime scene? The reason why he did it is my ticket out of this whole mess. There's only one reason your client would secretly film the crime scene. They? Your client once told me something very interesting. We were talking about you, and this is what they said. But I'm no weakling. I don't believe in anyone, least of all assassins. Oh, come now, Mr. Wright. Assassins aren't above blackmail. Yeah, that's where the video comes in. With that, I can keep him at bay, and even blackmail him if I want. Your client didn't trust you at all. They were thinking of using this video to blackmail you. What do you have to say about that, Charlie the Killer? No! Looks like I was being deceived from the very beginning. Yes, by a natural. That is the kind of person they are. Your client is a person who only thinks and plots of how to use people around them to protect themselves from any and all dangers that may arise. That is the true nature of your client. I have one question for the witness. Yes? You told us one thing numerous times during your testimony. You said that you detest traitors most of all. Yes, that's right. But what if that traitor was your own client? What would you do then? That's obvious. I would break our contract in that case. And then, that client would become my next target. For the honor of the killer name, even if it takes an eternity, I would follow that person to the ends of the earth to exact my punishment. I see. That is all I wanted to know. So the traitor becomes the killer's next target. Ah, I get it. This is how we'll turn this case around. Mr. Wright? Yes? My contract with my client is over as of now. I seem to have a new job on my hands. I will now return to you your precious item. What the? I'm not an item! This trial appears to have come to its conclusion. However, I don't quite know what just happened there with the client and the witness and the... Wah! Miss Von Karma, where did that... She always has you in her sights. Now, I do believe it's time to finally hand out a verdict. Problem? Mr. Engarde, it looks like somehow you got what you wanted. You will finally receive the acquittal you wanted so badly. You should be happy. But before that, I would like to make one final statement. Sometime in the near future, one very betrayed assassin may appear before you. Needless to say, I think that man is very good at what he does. I'm sure you would understand what I mean if you watched this video. Help me. Now then, Your Honor, the verdict, if you please. Is this alright with you, Mr. Wright? Huh? We have finally reached the end of a very long battle. Whether he's convicted or acquitted, there's no escape for him now. Go on, Phoenix. Plead whichever way your heart tells you. Right, Chief. The bastard's guilty. I almost clicked not guilty there. Madame Garde? Even though I am a lawyer, I cannot make your crime disappear. I think a guilty verdict is appropriate here. Me? My wonderful self? Guilty? Even if you got an acquittal, the instant you set foot out of the detention center, your life would be in danger, no matter which way you look at it. You cannot run away from your crime anymore! Yeesh. As always, it looks like we have uncovered the real truth. We? I don't remember you helping out much in this. Mr. Edgeworth, how is Madame Garde? I have left Miss Von Karma in charge of incarceration. I'm sure he's getting a full-time course meal of whipped leather right about now. Good, he deserves it. Very good. That was a close one, wasn't it, witness? Yes. I plan to pay my debts in society for my own crime, Your Honor. This trial was the first time I had stood on the witness stand, and when I did, I really felt hopeless. She must be talking about the time Edgeworth really went after her. I guess she's trying to forgive him for what he did. That's the first time I really saw myself in who I am. And today, when the two of you used your combined strength to convict Matt, I felt like I had finally been saved. Wow, this is the first time I've ever seen her smile. I'm really happy that you two were in charge of this case. I really don't know how to express how I feel at this moment. This is the first time I've ever felt comfortable with myself, with who I am. Thank you so much, everyone. It looks like we have resolved everything at last. As for myself, there are still a few things I'm confused about, but everyone seems to be in good spirits, and that is good enough for me. That is all. This court is adjourned. You were great out there, Phoenix. What I did out there was right, wasn't it? This is the first time you've not gotten your client off. You've got them a guilty verdict this time. But you have to look past all of that to what's really important. Now you realize that there's something more than just getting a not guilty, right? Yes, I understand now. Phoenix, think back for a second. Think to the moments before Miss Von Karma arrived with the final pieces of evidence. Think about the incredible decision you had to make. Is he guilty, or is he not guilty? Those were the choices then. And your answer? Your answer spoke to what being a lawyer means to you. Right. Edgeworth. I have good news. Maya is now safe in police custody. Really? Whoa, that was fast. You're telling us the truth, right, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, she's quite safe. She's on her way here as we speak in a patrol car. Ah, Mystic Maya's safe! You did it! You really did it, Mr. Nick! Ow, she punches deceptively hard for a kid. I believe in you. I kept saying to myself, Mr. Nick will save her. Mr. Nick will save her. Aww. About earlier, thanks. Ow! Why are you still smiling? Mr. Phoenix, Wright? You lost! Your perfect win record has now been crushed. And yet, you are still happy? I don't think you'll ever understand, Miss Karma. How dare you? Don't worry. She may in time. After all, I was like that myself until a year ago. Edgeworth. For my own personal victories, and for guilty verdicts. I used every dirty trick in the book, and so my win record remains spotless. But a man appeared and stood fast against that selfish me. I fought him in my usual manner, and tasted my first defeat. I felt like I had lost everything because of that. And then it was my turn to sit in the defendant's chair. And I was saved by that person I called my enemy. I couldn't forgive myself for all that happened, so I left the prosecutor's office. And I left that note. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth chooses death. As well you should have. A prosecutor who ashamed himself with defeat should crawl into a hole and die. But that was not what happened. After I left the prosecutor's office, I finally came to realize something. It had been my moment of clarity that everything began to change. What foolish nonsense. We prosecutors use anything we can to attack the defendant, but every time we did so, no matter how desperate the situation, instead of giving up like most people, that man would hold strong with his undying faith. And then, before I knew it, I began to trust in that man as well. What? You trusted your enemy? It doesn't matter how many underhanded tricks a person uses. The truth will always find a way to make itself known. The only thing we can do is fight with the knowledge we hold and everything we have. Erasing the paradoxes one by one. It's never easy. We claw and scratch for it every inch. But But we will always eventually reach that one single truth. This, I promise you. The truth. Yes, that's the reason why prosecutors and defense lawyers exist. But I'm sure you knew that already, didn't you, Wright? That's why you couldn't forgive me. This man who went into hiding. Isn't that right? This man who only had his sights set on victory, who ran away into the night. Is Mr. Edgeworth right, Mr. Nick? You really let me down. When you disappeared, I felt betrayed. The reason I decided to become a lawyer to begin with was because I believed in the things you said to me. All those years ago. And you betrayed your own words. That's why, 1 year ago, I made up my mind. I decided that the Miles Edgeworth I knew had died. At least, that's what I told myself. You pathetic fool! I don't want to hear the wretched whimpering of a disgraced loser. A Von Karma is someone who is destined to be perfect. Miles Edgeworth, you are no longer worthy. You are no longer worthy of being a Von Karma, and neither am I. It's over. It's all over. She dropped her whip? I'll never set foot in another courtroom again. I'm sure that's what she's saying by this action. You should keep this, right? Okay. I couldn't help but laugh at that. Alright, I think it's time we get out of this depressing place. Huh? Where are we going? Food, Nick! Food! Grub! Chow! I'm starved! I'm so hungry even you look like a nice juicy burger bun to me, Nick. You think I look like a burger? I'm prime rib at least. Come with us, Mr. Edgeworth, please! If you insist. Don't be silly. Hey pal, sorry to keep you guys waiting. Gumshoe, are you alright? Yeah, but I'm really embarrassed. I didn't think I would hit a telephone. You hit a telephone pole? Oh my god. A telephone pole. You did it again, city boy. Felt like my dear old heart was gonna give out on me, and I ain't joking. Yeah, it was more exciting than the very last episode of The Steel Samurai. Thanks. Now looky here, Mr. Stony Prosecutor, don't you reckon you bullied Mr. Wright too hard? If you don't start being a lot nicer to him, he just might kick it. Tonight even. I'll keep that in mind. Well, come on now. Everyone gather around. Y'all are gonna get your picture taken by a genuine professional photographer. A new camera. Well, pal, at least we can put this messy case behind us now. Come on, tonight's all about eating, so let's go chow down, pal. Amen to that, pal. Amen. You know, when you think about it, you were the one who saved the day, detective. Huh? Me? You really think so? He's right. If it wasn't for the 3 items you took, I think this trial would have had a very different ending. Ah, well, you know, it's... Huh? Wait. That's odd. When I ran off with the things from the killer's hideout, I was sure I took 4 things in total, sir. What? 4? Yeah, I'm sure I put one of the items in my coat pocket. There was a 4th item? Ah, come on, y'all, it's over. But whoo, boy, I tell ya, you are really something else. Between getting accused of murder and getting kidnapped, never a dull moment with you, huh? You think? Why does she look so happy about that? But being shut away for 2 whole days? Weren't you scared? Yeah, it was really scary. I felt so hopeless. So to keep my mind off things, I drew a picture. Sounds like you had it rough, gal. So, where's this picture of yours? Yeah, I want to see it. I want to see Mystic Maya's picture. You know, I don't know where it went. Aw, that's too bad. Well, it's alright. It wasn't anything important anyway. But, what is it, Edgeworth? This thing is picking something up. Ah, that's Miss Von Karma's receiver. But, thanks to her, I had the most awful experience of my life, sir. Can't believe she stuck a tracking device on me. That's odd. Even though you're standing right here, the tracking device seems to be in a different location. Oh, it's probably just busted or something, sir. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm afraid it's about time for me to excuse myself. I still have some work to do. Huh? But Mr. Edgeworth, you haven't eaten anything yet. And you've eaten way too much, you glutton. I had fun tonight. Now if you'll excuse me. Wait. What? I just want to say, thanks, Edgeworth. You really saved me out there. If anyone should be saying thanks, it should be me, right? I feel like words alone are enough here. What's this? Thank you. It's all thanks to you two. You and her. You don't need to thank me. I was only doing my job. Looks like Mr. Edgeworth has left, Mr. Nick. Hey, Mystic Maya? Yes, Pearly? I guess you two can go back to being lovey-dovey, right? You and Mr. Nick, I mean. Pearly? Would you cut it out already? You're embarrassing me. Oh, anyway. So, who's paying for this lovely dinner party? As if you need to ask. Everyone say thank you to Nick. Huh? Yeah. I'm kinda at the point where I can't even buy instant noodles, pal. So I kind of already put your name on the bill. Huh? Yeah, I got me a situation just like that myself. There's this camera shop in this hotel, see? And I just kind of bought myself this good old beauty here. It'd be better be anyhow for $3,000. Huh? Actually, I reckon you bought it for me since it's on your tab and all. Huh? Isn't this great, Mr. Nick? Yeah, Nick. Why do I suddenly feel like screaming? Aw, you don't need to hold back now, you hear? Yeah, pal, time to let it all out. This is going to be the first time I hear the real you. Go on, it's been a while since I've heard you say it. Since I've been hostage and all. Alright then, if you say so. That is the end of Phoenix Wright, Justice for All. And like I told you, it was a very emotional game. I practically melted at that part where they just reunited. But I'm just gonna sit back and let you guys enjoy the credits.